So, are you tired of playing with these same old powerhouse teams in Madden 23's franchise mode? Do you crave the challenge of turning a struggling franchise into a champion? Well, get ready for the ultimate rebuild. In this video, I'm taking a look at the 5 best teams to turn around in a CPU versus CPU franchise. From underdog squads to former contenders who had fallen on hard times, I'll break down each team's strengths and weaknesses and show you how to take them from the bottom to the top. So strap in and get ready for some serious football drama as I tackle the ultimate challenge of rebuilding in Madden 23. So for each of these 5 teams, I'll be going over their roster, what they need and who they have, their current picks, potential, their salary, and what I do with each team during a rebuild to give you an idea on why I think these teams are the best to rebuild in CPU versus CPU franchises. These are in no order whatsoever. I'm just going to be giving you the 5 teams, and the first team, the Colts. So starting off, we have a lot. These are updated rosters. Guys, I recommend you always use updated rosters. It just makes it more fun. So what do the Colts need? Obviously, we need a quarterback. So for me starting out, Gardner Minshew is cool if I'm tanking. I also have a star halfback who I always keep, and I also have some young, very good wide receivers. I normally always trade Michael Pittman, unfortunately, because he has really good trade value and he really doesn't dev up. But starting off, I can build my team around Alec Pierce and some of these rookies. Honestly, I normally always keep Alec Pierce, and I work with that, and I try to get either wide receivers from trades or the draft. So for me, if I'm looking at the team salaries, I always keep Quentin Nelson just because he's the best lineman in the game, in my opinion. So I always keep him, and it just hurts me kind of more to trade him because of the penalty, 31 mil. So like, why would I not keep a amazing left guard? However, I normally always trade Kenny Moore and try to get a better cornerback because he's small and he'll also be needing a contract. As you can see, in 2 years, he'll need a contract. I definitely try to get rid of Shaq. I recommend you always come into these team salaries before you do anything, because this is going to tell me what I'm going to be losing. I'm not going to be going over in detail the cap hit and all of that other stuff that comes along with this screen. I will be going over that in another video. But for now, I always look at this, and even though I'm wasting 16 mil and only saving 6.92 mil, the upside is he is a superstar or an X Factor. I forget what they gave him in the new update, but I always trade Darius Leonard. So I'm always looking for different players that I can trade. And honestly, the Colts have a lot that we can trade for, and not just that, we have things that we can build around. So I honestly love using the Colts and their draft picks. They have 1 draft pick in the first round, and it's pretty high at the moment. And honestly, you can do some stuff with some second round picks. I'll be doing a how to trade for picks video tomorrow, so stick around for that. But that's pretty much all with the Colts. So moving on, in my opinion, I think the Bears would be another good franchise team to actually rebuild. You have a young franchise quarterback in Justin Fields who can dev up. He needs to dev up, but he definitely does dev up if you actually use the correct sliders and do good with him. They have a decent halfback, but you can always trade and try to get somebody else. And of course, they have a DJ Moore who they just acquired. So you can definitely build around DJ Moore and Claypool and Mooney if you really wanted to. Me personally, I would definitely probably trade Mooney and Equanius St. Brown. I would probably trade both of those and some other players, but they definitely have pieces that you can build around. On the defensive side, you're probably going to have to actually do a little bit of work because the defense is actually terrible. They do have Tremont Edmonds. You could trade him and try to get some more defensive pieces. And then on the cornerback side, they're lacking a little bit, but again, they have young guys. So if you really wanted to, you could try to develop them and then draft. And speaking of the draft picks, they actually have a very high pick in the 7th round for both of these years. So again, like I said, if you wanted to just see how far you could then this first round pick 7 pick and you think that it's going to actually drop, I would recommend trading up to somebody, even if it's like the 5th or the 6th pick, to a team that you know will probably do way worse than you, so you can guarantee a top 10 pick still. And now that you have your franchise quarterback in Justin Fields, you can focus on drafting another key piece. Honestly, the possibilities are endless with the Bears, and I think they would be a pretty good franchise team. And not to mention, they have 60 mil in cap space, and you're probably going to make a lot too by actually trading some of these players. So moving on, to the Lions. So for the Lions, they have a lot. They have 33.4 mil in cap space. And on the surface, it doesn't seem like there's anything good with this team. For starters, I'm instantly cutting Jared Goff or probably trading him, even though he's a 79 overall. And you're like, what the hell am I going to get for him? You'll be surprised. He's 27, 79 overall. A team will definitely pay for him. So say, for example, if you pay for the Colts, you may be able to get the Colts first round picks or something else like JT. I'm not sure if you'll get JT, but you'll be able to get some things to improve your team from the Colts or a team that needs a quarterback, the Commanders, and you're saving 25.5 mil by actually trading him. Now, other than that, they have some decent pieces around them. So they have an okay running back. I'd probably look to either replace him because I wouldn't re-sign him, and his contract's a little bit high for my liking, but I would either look to replace him, trade him for something else, or develop somebody under him, honestly, or draft one. The wide receivers could use a little bit of work. However, you could possibly build around Armand St. Brown, in my opinion. And you also have Jameson Williams, your rookie. So I would build around these two. And I would honestly look to draft somebody that could probably either pair with one of these, or if you just wanted to build around them and sign somebody in free agency, you could do that. And you could use your pick to actually improve some of the defense. They have a okay defense. They have Aiden Hutchinson, which honestly isn't bad. You could probably get a right end to pair on the opposite side. The TT is subpar. However, he's young, so you could develop him. And their cornerbacks are decent. I would still be looking to improve because 78 is not all that good, and then everybody else is kind of like old heads. So you would probably need to focus a lot on your defensive side of the ball once you replace your quarterback. But again, you could always tank and draft your franchise quarterback and work from there. And speaking of the Lions picks, they actually have 2 first rounds this year. They have 1 pick from the Rams, and honestly, the Rams do very bad for some reason. So I would honestly keep this, and this would definitely skyrocket up, and you could trade it mid-season or keep it. And then you obviously have the 2nd round pick. So again, I would honestly probably keep this because with the Lions, I don't see you going crazy unless you completely rebuild first year and go all in. But you could keep this, and then if you see that you're winning a lot of games, trade it mid-season to a team that's going to do worse than you. And again, you have this pick next year. And this pick next year, I would definitely trade because by then, you would already have a little bit of pieces to do better than you did this year from the free agency and the draft. So this is definitely not going to be the 2nd pick. It shouldn't. So you should definitely trade to a team that you think will probably be way worse than you. So moving on to our 4th team, and it's the Panthers. And the Panthers actually have a squad. Yeah, they don't have a quarterback, but you could honestly probably keep Matt Corral and build around him, even though he's a 64 overall. Me personally, I would actually more than likely try to keep him because, again, he's a dog. 6'2", 205, 23 rookie, strong arm, 89 throw power. It's actually not that bad. So for me, first year, I would just rock with him, and I would definitely probably release these two. Maybe even try to trade Andy Dalton for even like a 3rd or a 4th rounder. Your halfback, you have Miles Sanders and Chuba Hubbard, both which aren't that bad. I would probably try to trade Miles Sanders for something since he's 25. You probably could develop him if you wanted to, but me personally, I would probably trade him to either try to get a better halfback or develop Chuba Hubbard. And your wide receivers, you did give up your best wide receiver in DJ Moore, unfortunately. But again, you have these 2 young dudes that you can build around for now. I would definitely try to trade Adam Thielen and DJ Chalk for a little bit of compensation. And honestly, guys, your defensive side of the ball, you have Brian Burns, who's a dog. You have Yetter Gross Matos. He's okay. Your DT, you have Derek Brown, who's a dog, and he's young. And your cornerbacks, they're subpar, but you do have JC Horn, who you can build around. And all you're going to need to do is get him some help back there. and your free safety and your strong safeties are kind of subpar as well. But you do have Jeremy Chin, who you should start and then try to trade Von Bell, in my opinion. But you could definitely get some compensation for some of these players that you're not going to use. And not to mention, you have 77.6 mil in cap space. So the free agency, you could go crazy. They have the 6th pick again for both of these years. So two teams that had really good picks. And I'm going to say the same thing again. If you think that you're going to do better than the 6th pick, trade it early. It's going to be so much easier trading up at this point. And you're guaranteed that you should have a top 5 pick and not rely on you having to sub people out and actually tank come the end of the season. And next year, again, I would already try to trade this. When you see that a team like really sucks, it may not be good next year, trade this pick away because you should do better than this position next year. So moving on to our final team, guys, and I hope this video has not been too long. I hope this video is helping you. It's the Seahawks. So the Seahawks actually free up a lot of cap space trading their guy. However, they have 62.7 mil still, and they have some pieces that you can definitely trade away. Tyler Lockett, Bobby Wagner, I'm already going to tell you I'm trading them. Even though they're very high, this is a rebuild. We don't have to go all in. We're not focused on going all in. So I'm trading both of these players, in my opinion. The player that you're going to be building around is your wide receiver, DK Metcalf. He is your star. I'm keeping him and I'm getting him some help. I'm getting him a 2nd wide receiver, and also I'm getting him a quarterback. You could probably rock with Geno Smith, but again, I would honestly probably just rock with Drew Lock. Trade Geno and try to get something else, even if you try to get a young star quarterback that's already in the league or in the free agency to help and draft your franchise quarterback, because that's probably the best thing to do. On your defensive side of the ball, you're probably going to need a little bit of work. They don't have too good of a defense anymore, but again, you have pieces to try to help that. I would try to trade Bobby Wagner and also your wide receiver Tyler Lockett for some defensive help. And your quarterbacks, like I said, aren't that. You do have Tariq Woolen and Kobe Bryant. They're a young core, so I would recommend keeping them. They're really good players, so they would definitely dev up, and you could probably just get like a superstar to just help them out and have one of these at slot and one of these on the outside, whoever's faster. Free safety, I would just trade Quandre Diggs, and your strong safety. Honestly, you could keep Jamal Adams since he's only 26, but he is getting paid 80 mil. So in 2 years, if you don't win a Super Bowl, it's like, damn, you just wasted 2 years. So again, you could either trade him for some more picks and really go crazy in the draft, or trade him for more help. And speaking of the draft picks, guys, again, they have really good picks thanks to the Broncos. They have the 9th pick and the 10th pick, 2 second rounders, and next year they still have their 1st round pick. So what I would automatically do is you may be able to keep your pick with them because that may not go up. But again, you can trade up, trade your pick up. And honestly, I would keep Denver's, because how good are the Denver Broncos really going to be? If you see them actually doing good, you could trade that later on in the season. I would keep Denver, and I would pray that they do bad, and I would try to trade my pick up. This is a really good team to rebuild, but you would have to go full on rebuild mode with this team, guys. I'm talking about all rookies or all young players and actually focus on development. And that's not that bad. It's a rebuild. So the Seahawks can be another fun team to pick, especially once you get your franchise guy and somebody else to pair with DK Metcalf. So these have been my top 5 best teams to rebuild. I honestly love CPU versus CPU franchises. If you enjoyed this video and wanted to see another video by me, you can click the video on the left to see my best CPU versus CPU sliders. And you can click that video on the to see another video by me. I am currently in my 30-day challenge. So tomorrow is going to be another banger. I'm going to show you guys how to easily trade for picks. And that's going to be a very short video because it's a very simple tip once you actually learn how to do it. I love you guys to the moon and back. I'm out. Peace.